Check.
Hello.
Hello.
We've been waiting for Lorraine. She's finally here. She slid
I
in.
told you to start.
She slid in like James Brown on the stage.
Hello.
Am I supposed to be able to? Okay, I
Can you hear me?
now.
Turn up a little bit.
Can you hear yourself?
A little bit.
Go ahead and lift it up a little bit. Speak directly into that. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say cuss up a little bit. Oh, too much. Down.
Can you hear yourself?
Yeah.
You can hear yourself?
Okay,
All right,
that's
cool.
good. We good?
Yeah.
We good to roll?
Good. I can hear everything,
Good.
and I know everything.
I don't
You got on
believe that
makeup
shit.
too. Where you been at? You been? Yeah, look at her.
Who are you trying to impress?
We kicking now? Are we starting?
You.
Let's do it.
I feel so.
What up, y'all? Welcome to another Boombap Tricks on All Real Radio. Hashtag WeAreDenver. Have you downloaded the app yet? If you haven't, do yourself a favor and do that shit. Yeah, we got another great show. We got Miss Lorraine sliding in here like James Brown. Yow! What up, yo?
What up?
You just, you and Anthony.
Man, we had a great night last night, and
It
that's
looked
kind of
like
why
it.
I was late, because I had all my stuff in different areas.
You living on
And
yesterday's
I left,
bread.
got halfway here, was like, I don't have any wallet. Had to go
Yeah.
back.
So what happened yesterday? Let me know, because I wasn't there. I was at a wedding.
I know, you should have came. I know you
I
had
couldn't.
time.
I didn't have time.
Oh, yeah,
I had
you
no
did.
damn time. I had
There's
kids.
always time.
I got kids, yo. It's time when you ain't got kids.
So we turned up at DU. We gave them
looked like it.
the main cultural diversity event of
What
the
they been eating?
decade.
You-
Yes. So the African Student Alliance, they put together a Taste of Africa, and it was really neat.
That
They
shit looked lit.
Yeah, they had a group of African dancers and drummers, and they also had 4 sections in there with different countries' food. So they had the Sudanese, Ethiopian, Ghanaian, and I don't know, I can't remember what the 4th one was, but about 250 people turned out. It was really cool. And then we were set up downstairs, and DJ Zenus, he played a lot of music that was that I never heard before. It was from African music and different.
Zenus be holding it down.
Well, they gave us, we were really prepared. It was very well organized. They gave us 80 songs.
Wow.
That they were interested
Oh, they
in
sent
hearing.
they sent the
Yeah,
playlist.
we already had pre-prepared for that. They got a late start setting up, and so it was kind of nice. There was 200 people lined up out of Driscoll Hall and outside. So Zenus was playing. That was really cool. And then at 9 o'clock, Anthony, did a set, and that was really good. And then we had drag queens.
I already murked it.
Oh, yeah, it was a great time. He always kills it, though. And then he looked fly, too, so he looked better
you
than
look
all
very
the drag
dapper,
queens. But they were, I didn't know we were supposed to bring singles, and, they
For
give
the
them,
drag queens?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know they took singles.
When
Yeah.
they did shows. I learned that last year when I went to the Christmas
So it's
thing,
almost like strip show.
Yeah.
Strip
Yeah.
club show.
And we had a lot of community that stayed. There was a lot of older people and just people coming through like, wow, is this a club? Is this something that you do every Saturday? Can we start coming? Right? So more community was interested than students. And the drag queens we had were really sweet to work with. I'd heard a lot of that they're hard to work with as artists just because, all artists have ego anyway, but they weren't. They were all really super cool. And then Zenus ended up finishing out the night for us. I tried. Yeah. But yeah, you don't answer your texts anymore.
Whatever.
So,
Get the fuck
I
out of
was
here
calling
with
him
that shit.
Zenith all night, like the TV,
Zenith?
the old TVs. I was gonna ask now, you like Zenith, like the old TVs and shit?
Yeah, and he did great. Anthony Anthony was dancing away.
Zenus is
Actually,
dope. I like him as a DJ.
after
actually.
everyone left, and I had told Zenus to pack up, he still didn't pack up.
Oh, you was still rocking
Yeah.
that.
it was-
Still rocking,
it was-
and Anthony was up there dancing. So, and then finally Dominic, the grad who is assigned to us for our events, he was like, "I'm ready to go. Like I've been here since noon." But it was a really great time. We definitely turned over that place.
Nah, it was needed. Like
Yeah, it was
they
a lot
need
of
culture
fun.
in there, and I'm glad that they actually got to see like the event in total versus like y'all, waiting for everything to pick up. Like,
Yeah.
so last night. It seemed. What time did y'all go to? Cause you text me like at 2 a.m. Cause like I got a baby. So when did it end? Like you hit me up.
Like 12 something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was kind of just, how you do after an event. You go over everything like, could I have done this? Did I do this right? What am I going to need to do now post-event? And just in thinking about stuff, I was like, And you're like young and single, baby or not. I just assume.
I mean, I'm single. I went to a wedding yesterday. I went to my man Melina Speaks and Cherie Brown, Mo Brown.
Yeah.
That's my family. They got married yesterday, so I went to that. It was beautiful. They did a real traditional Aztec and West African style of wedding yesterday. It was beautiful the way they was set up, and it was outside. That's some Melina Speak shit because like you gonna set it up outside in November? That's some crazy shit.
Some hippie shit. That's
Some hippie shit. Some hippie. He literally called good weather into existence. So it was 75 yesterday. The weather was beautiful. The ceremony was beautiful. But I didn't even get to go to the after party. I didn't even go to that. So like, I had to go pick up my daughter, and I just didn't have time to go, like get everything coordinated around it. So I was looking at everybody having fun online last night. So that was kind of what I was doing. I saw y'all getting turned up last night, and then I seen them getting turned up over at the after party where they were at, and then I seen the Denver convention going down with the B-boy breaking convention. So
that
like
ended up actually extending out longer. It was supposed to end at 5, and I think there were so many people there that they took it inside and just continued on till like 8 p.m.
Yeah.
So they went 3 hours longer, and then there were 2 after parties set up for that event. So
it sounds like it. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't miss out, but I didn't get to participate in the weekend like I would have wanted to. It looked like it was a lot of dope shit going
I saw
on.
you went to Temple.
I went to Temple, yeah. I got turned up on Friday. I went to Temple. I went to Milk Bar and saw Zoid's crew, and then I went down to The Solution. But it wasn't like Denver Convention or what y'all did over at DU or like all these other things. I missed out on the fun, the
Culture.
Yeah, the culture shit, But yeah, what up with you? How you doing? You quiet as shit over here, man.
I'm just taking it in. No, I'm just listening to stuff, man.
I ain't never this quiet.
It's a lot of stuff going on in the world, man. It's another 20 people just got killed in the church shooting.
Yeah.
Baptist church.
In Texas, that just happened like a few hours ago.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
It was actually a young man out here in Denver that just got killed. Theo Wilson, Luciferi was just talking about it. He's actually really pushing for people to contact the Denver Police Department and talk about firing the police officer that killed this young man here in Denver. So, if you haven't, go to my Facebook page. I reposted the conversation Theo was having with the community in reference to this young man dying. But yeah, it's a lot of crazy shit happening right now in the world for sure.
And speaking on that, also go to Candy Cedabaca's page because one of the things that they're trying to get this extra bond money or pass, a lot of what people don't know is they're saying it's for schools to get buses, activities, and it's not. It's actually a lot of the police department having to pay that family out millions of dollars, and then, other stuff going on with that money is going to, help pad that.
City money is getting funneled really funny right now. And I think that's something that the community really needs to be aware of. Like, there's a lot of money coming into Denver from the weed industry, and there's a lot of money coming in from a variety of other businesses, tax money-wise, but the money that's being funded through the school district, Denver School District isn't funding. Actually, straight up, let's put them on blast. Denver School District recently took a big portion of financial aid for nonprofit programs based off of the GoBud funds. Yeah. So like with the GoBud funds, we're funding were like these police conversations that's happening between the community and the actual police officers, and it was going into like artistic programs that are engaging youth. So the Denver School District decided that they needed the funding, and like cut off. And it wasn't just the Denver School District. It was also like the Denver City Council ended up taking a good portion of that money. And we also have to realize that the city of Denver gets funded through tax money. So like the fact that they're dipping into like nonprofit funds in order to go ahead and fund projects that they already have funding for is appalling. So like Candy, I got nothing but love for Candy Baca just because she's so engaged and she informs the community of what's happening around those specifics.
Albus Brooks had posted on Facebook saying that he was backing that specific like amendment to be passed, and she went in on him on his post and said, no, you're lying, these are the things, and she posted resources to find out like where it was coming from, and he didn't address her, but he just kept going through like but there was a lot of people who called him out.
He recently cut some funding from her program with Project Voice. Right. So like the games that's happening behind the scenes within the politics in the city, everybody wants to be kumbaya and act like everything is all kosher and shit. The reality is these motherfuckers are playing games and playing chess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what pisses me off. I was looking through just the politicians, the congressmen, and none of them motherfuckers are intimidating, man. Like none of them. They all look like bitches. And I'm like, I just don't. I feel like a motherfucker that I feel like I can beat the fuck up shouldn't be making rules for everybody.
Why were you looking this up?
I research everything, man.
Okay,
I always have shit to talk about. I research this shit.
And you just
I just started looking through them like, let me see if one of these motherfuckers. And I'm just like, these bitches. And that's what it is, man. That's what's wrong with the world today. It's a bunch of bitches running the world that's rich. They hide behind their money. So they make what success is based off money to make them superior to everybody else.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's like, you got motherfuckers. I just don't feel like if you are scared of me, you shouldn't be making rules for me. You know what I'm saying? We can just go beat these motherfuckers up. All we got to do is get the Secret Service on our side, and we can just go beat these motherfuckers up, take our health care and everything.
They're not scared of you, though.
Say again?
They're not scared of you.
Because they got money and power. That's why. But if you take that away and we out in the street, them bitches running.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. On some man-to-man shit.
It's that superiority complex.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. They make themselves superior behind their money. Mm-hmm. And that's why what success is to people is how much money can you generate.
Yeah.
That's how they keep the power.
Yeah, it is. I think, these conversations that we're having are needed to be had more often with community members just because, the community is just so ignorant about the ways that the actual system works, the ways that finances work. And me and you have had this conversation, in Luray, we've had this conversation numerous times with the community financial literacy specific. Because we're not financial literate, gentrification is something that is overpowering our community. So, instead of like actually, being able to buy our own properties, buy our own houses, support our own businesses, we don't have the financial power impact to really go ahead and like.
You don't have the knowledge. But also what's important is that, and what you need to understand about a lot of white people in their communities is that they have people that are doctors, lawyers, congressmen, police officers. They have people that's in the system, so they can kind of maneuver and manipulate it a little bit to where us as black people, we don't know anybody that's into where they can give us inside information. I hear this a lot when I'm driving around with these like privileged white people and stuff, and they're talking about what their friends are doing for them. Right. And their friends are doing huge things that you and I don't have friends that can get us those resources or into those type of, you know what I'm saying, rings to do things. Yeah.
It's a solid privilege.
But that's the thing. You need to get out here and meet these people.
No, it's true.
Stop putting yourself in this box saying, well, I'm not fucking with these people because they're this, they're that, they're that. I'm like, those people may have the information you need to progress. So as long as you have this bubble around you saying, well, I'm not messing with them because they aren't black or they aren't a woman or they aren't a man, then you're pigeonholing yourself and the knowledge you could obtain from that group.
True indeed. Yeah. And that's part of the trick. You know what I'm saying? The color lines. You get so caught up in white, black, and other. You know what I'm saying? Brown. Yeah. Like we don't think about like how can we go ahead and galvanize that power. In reality, like you should be going to whoever has knowledge and gaining that knowledge so that you can go ahead and make your own personal changes. So
I know, but but you gotta understand. This is what I tell people when they get mad at me. I'm like, supremacy of any kind is bad, and you got a lot of black people, activists that are preaching black supremacy.
Yeah.
Like,
It is true. It's true.
Kill whitey, we're superior. And I'm like, Joe, you're doing the exact same thing. You can't do that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I've been alienated because of that exact thing. Because like I'm not like, it's not that I'm not like a pro-black nationalist, like in the idea of what it is, meaning that like galvanizing black money, making your own black nation, and supporting your own black community. I'm for that. But when you're talking about actually alienating yourself from the rest of everybody else, black, brown, and other, you know what I'm
cool
saying?
with that.
I'm
cool with that.
No, are you cool with that?
No, I'm not.
For one, we got a guest in here. We got Tyree up in here.
We're 30 minutes in. I ain't a guest no more.
Shut the fuck up.
I feel like I'm a part of the show.
We're 9 minutes. Tell the truth.
But we have a guest in here, Tyree. So what's your thoughts on that, man?
On the what?
On everything that we talking about right
Man,
now.
y'all done talked about so much. I was coming out here ready to joke, and I'm like, man, this just brought me
heavy.
down.
While I was getting ready today, I listened to Samson and Ryan Fu on Nothing Explained, and I'm sitting here kind of mentally messed up because they talked about these water bottles, and Samson actually had so many like analytical statistics on this and also the whole game in Flint, Michigan, like that I didn't even think about. Like they were trying to change the process of where water was coming from. They took a shortcut, and then the people investing in them were these water bottle companies, and then also people sending water in were from these water bottle companies. So like they were double dipping, like just listening to all of that. And then he was saying, that people assume that the fluoride that they talk about is harmful in the sink water isn't the same fluoride for your teeth. It's a totally different chemical.
That
It's not
doesn't
even
make
the
sense.
same. Yeah, it's not the same. Samson can definitely give us a detail, or you could actually go back and listen to his show. But so that, the other stuff with Kevin Spacey's been messing me up. House of Cards,
Yeah,
Netflix dropped
with
him.
him, like because of that
just been
sexual
happening.
harassment.
It's just
You
coming-
know what's a
Dude.
good thing though is I was glad that Netflix dropped him and everyone else, because I felt like, and I'm not saying I'm condoling or pacifying anything, but like Bill Cosby got like
Yeah, he got
thrown through,
scrutinized.
and so seeing Kevin Spacey, a white male,
So-
having things taken away, I was like, okay, cool.
This is conspiracy theorist in me, right? So it's interesting that like House of Cards is actually going out with Trump being in office, right? In that actual case is like actually being pushed out, because like when you really watch House of Cards, have you watched House of Cards? House of
Yeah.
Cards is the breakdown of politics,
Yep.
how it really works, how it really operates, and it gives you the insights of how these motherfuckers make deals behind freaking closed doors. So it's real interesting that all of a sudden, as Trump is in office, because it was fine when, I understand shit, but I'm sure that freaking Kevin Spacey had been harassing bitches way before freaking,
And
like,
He liked the boys.
He liked boys.
He liked the
Okay.
boys.
Boys
he
and
liked
girls.
boys.
Okay.
And they were little, 13, 10.
okay,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
What? The
Wow.
Catholic Church been doing it forever. You gonna take away House of Cards because Kevin Spacey touched somebody's ass? Take away the church too.
But
Get
he
rid
had-
of them motherfuckers.
This isn't new information,
true
though. He
that.
had been doing this, though. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it leaks out as, like, Trump is in office.
And more youth that are now adults are coming out.
Wow.
Even his
Why do they wait so long?
because of the way it is when you're a victim too.
I don't think so.
What was that side for?
I think
what
they,
was the side for?
those people have been
We
reporting
had
that.
this conversation.
Look,
Yeah,
he
we
drank
had
his
this
water. He's
conversation.
like, let me get my lips
I
ready
can
for this.
understand at that age. If you a little mother, if you a kid, I can understand that, the fear behind it. But if you're an adult and somebody does something to you, it is your obligation to tell. Because if you don't, if somebody rapes you and you don't say shit, you're literally saying, well, okay, go rape other people.
Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss's son just came out that Kevin Spacey had sexually assaulted him as a teen as well.
I don't even
So
know
that's
who
a-
Richard Dreyfuss is. Who the-
You gotta tell me what he did. I don't like this word sexual assault because that covers a broad
Yeah.
variety of shit. He got you like got like
he
stick a
groped
finger in the ass or something.
He groped his genitals, so he played with his penis.
Wow,
He played with his penis.
You a sick motherfucker. You just
That's some. That's
groping people playing with their dicks through their pants.
You know,
It's like those women in the club.
that's layers of shit right there. You know,
Bruh.
like if we gonna talk about sexual assault, especially speaking of sexual assault, we have Maule, who's coming out with
This Saturday.
who's gonna be having a event that's actually talking about women who've been sexually assaulted, and within that, he's advocating and speaking up against that happening in the community, in colleges specifically, because that's a conversation that's not happening enough in colleges. It's happening, but it's not happening enough in colleges. And his whole event is based off of that subject
and three
matter.
a week are being sexually assaulted, or not even just sexually assaulted, raped right now on campuses.
It's an important topic. It's
not you.
Go to community college.
It's not you.
They don't rape bitches at community college.
Just shut up.
What?
It doesn't even make
They
sense.
rape women at universities. Yo.
I seen it on your face. You like, I'm about to say some stupid shit.
He saw it coming.
Right.
He's like, here it comes. No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Lorraine just stopped talking. He about to say some stupid shit. Everybody be quiet.
Stop. So let's bring in Tyree, y'all. Like, we got a guest in here. Young comic who is in the comedy industry out here in Denver, Colorado. He also works at the Improv Comedy Theater, and this young man has really been like laying down the foundation of who he's about to be in the comedy industry here soon. I had a brief conversation with him earlier about where he's at and where he's going. But Tyree, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm good. I'm blessed. I'm alive.
You blessed and you alive.
Yeah.
So
Give us the rundown. You know, what made you start comedy? How long you been doing?
Okay.
You know the typical shit.
I've been doing comedy around 2 years. It'll be 2 years in December. I've always wanted to do comedy. I started just being an asshole, like like getting the class's attention just to take away from the fact that I was different than everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Well, they won't know because we on the radio. I was born different. I'm a double amputee, and I wanted people to stop making fun of me. So I started telling jokes about me just to kind of like ease them into me. You know what I'm saying? Like make it okay that I'm different than y'all. I can make y'all laugh, and that's gonna make it okay. And I mean, it kind of just started from there, and yeah.
you turn your hardness into a superpower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to say that I'm more psychopathic now. Like I probably would have been normal if I didn't do that.
Okay.
And now I'm kind of like insane a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good superpower.
I laugh at shit I'm not supposed to laugh at now. It's like, that's not funny, nigga. And it's like,
what are some of the things you laugh at that you inappropriately
cancer?
laugh at?
No, I'm just playing.
Cancer. Murder.
No, see, I did kind of like, I did backpedal a little bit because I was at the Ronald McDonald House because I was getting my new legs made. And this little it sounds fucked up, right? I backpedaled because this kid with leukemia kept fucking staring at me. Him and his mom would just stare at me like, well, how you gonna stare at me when your son got cancer? You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, I had to look over at my mom. I'm like, I wish this fucking little cancer kid would stop fucking staring at me. And we laughed about it. And then his mom died like the next day. And she had a pacemaker in, and her pacemaker stopped. And I was kind of like, you know what? Some of this shit I need to dial back on. So, yeah.
Nigga, your joke didn't kill his mama?
I know. I figured that out later, but it kind of hurt me then. I was only like 17.
I forgot you
He has a
sensitive.
conscience.
No,
sensitive.
bitch. I was
sensitive,
17. I was 17.
It's not that he's sensitive. It's just that Anthony's a sociopath.
He's a young
Yeah. Yeah.
So like, you know.
I'm not sensitive, y'all.
You can't be. That's a
Sensitive,
good
the
attribute.
Except for with the ladies.
Oh,
Fuck outta here,
that's
man.
the wrong place to be sensitive. No,
It's not the wrong place to be sensitive.
I'm just playing with you, bro.
Yeah, I know.
He's still good. Don't taint him.
Who's your favorite comic out here right now?
My favorite right now is
Right now and of all time.
yeah. Right now it's Donald Glover.
Donald Glover.
Yeah, and of all time it's
Stand-up comedian.
stand-up comedian. Ooh, that's hard. Damn.
Mikey Winfield, and you are giving me tickets to see him Thanksgiving
I'll give you
weekend.
Mikey Winfield. I met Mikey. He's cool.
I love him.
How you gonna tell him what his favorite is?
Mikey Winfield's not my favorite. He's cool people though. I like damn.
Just give me one of your top of all time. Somebody you
Top of all time, I would probably say Dave Chappelle's probably my favorite right
Okay.
now. I'll say Dave Chappelle. That's the safe.
I feel like Dave Chappelle's like the Richard Pryor of our generation.
And Richard Pryor is my favorite of all time.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Dave Chappelle is the Richard Pryor.
Where's
of his
Chris Rock
generation.
fall at though? Everybody say
Chris Rock is probably top 3
lot of
of all
people-
time
yeah,
for me. Well,
yeah.
not of all time, but like
I think of
as
all time,
comedians
I'm gonna say
that are
Rock,
alive.
man.
I
would
feel
say
like
Chris
Rock falls out of a lot of
I'm
people's
telling you,
lists.
I went back and I watched Chris Rock, all of his specials, Joe.
I
They
love
so
when
dope.
he makes that
Wait a
side
minute.
face and you know something's coming.
I like
Something
Bernie
smart.
Mac too.
Bernie Mac, yeah.
Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
Bernie Mac didn't get a chance to. He didn't get his own hour. I think you know. What I'm saying,
Yeah.
that's one of those things to where it's like he's kind of like that. Right. He died at the top of his game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of finished stuff.
Bernie
but
never
yeah.
had a whole hour of just Bernie? I didn't realize that.
Nope. No.
Bernie was dope.
Yeah.
DL's good. DL's
I
one
like
of my
DL.
favorites too.
Old school.
Yeah,
He's a
I like old comedy. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this new stuff is good, but I'm a comedian now,
Right.
so I like myself.
So you're part of the new school.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ant. I like Ant. Ant's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. He didn't go for high five me. You were supposed to high five me.
He don't high five.
He do it.
High five.
Yeah.
High five, but you away across the table. I was gonna stand up and do it.
Why not? I can't
Why
stand up and do it.
I know, right? Meet me halfway, motherfucker. You can't.
Okay. All right.
What made you wear them 2 tight ass chains today, man?
I wear these chains all the time. I wear these chains all the
You
time.
got them, goddamn it.
You wish you could afford a chain. That's
the
what it is,
Michael
'cause every
Jordan
time-
1989.
Every time I wear these chains, you be talking shit about
Undefeatable.
the chains. You wish
So-
you had them, huh? You want to wear them?
Them
One of
motherfuckers
the
so
things
tight.
people don't know is Anthony and Tyree go in like this. And
All
they
the
go
time.
in like
First
this
of
all
all,
the time.
all the
And when they're
time.
on the same show,
This is the first time I seen this nigga without his wave cap in 6 months.
You go
And his
straight for the
hair-
wave cap.
His hair is thinning.
My shit is thinning.
Oh.
He ain't got the whips no more.
Oh.
It's like a wave pull.
The wave's
It ain't-
gone.
I feel like this is
Where's
dozens.
gone?
We went straight in. We went to dozens.
He mad because I talked about them little goddamn.
What?
You got them goddamn bracelets around your neck, goddamn it.
It's not bracelets, goddammit.
They look like bracelets.
Fuck.
They the same size as bracelets around your neck. Your
Nope.
neck fat as hell too. Might just be your neck.
Bitches love it though.
What bitch is sucking on your neck? Somebody look at the neck. You got rolls
You know
on your
what?
neck, man.
Okay, I'm not gonna do it with you today.
I'm out
I'm
of this.
Hey,
one,
so-
right?
That ass
I feel
hand.
like y'all just throwing
When it
So
get hot,
tight.
your neck smell like bacon grease.
No, it doesn't.
Whoa.
It doesn't.
some
doesn't
women
smell
love
like
bacon grease.
You like bacon grease, Lorraine?
like bacon grease.
Let
That's
you,
what that was.
let you take off your pants and your balls smell like bacon grease. Ain't nobody putting that in their mouth.
Why
Oh,
not?
no.
Huh?
You better ask somebody.
Oh.
Ask somebody what?
Well, you could pay them, and then they gonna do it either way.
Wow.
$100.
Bacon grease, neck rolls.
So you're from Montbello, right? You're a
I
Colorado native?
grew up in Park Hill in Montbello.
Park
Yeah.
Hill and Montbello.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could tell by the red T-shirt you got on.
That was the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
No, that's straight Park Hill.
No, I'm just fucking with you, man. This is Polo though. This ain't like
He said it's
this
Polo,
ain't Gen
dog.
X. This ain't Gen X.
Oh, okay.
God damn it.
Well, that's
This is-
good. That's some Montbello shit. That ain't Park Hill shit.
My
Just-
bad.
That
Compton Mark.
reminded me of D. Kelly right there. I got my FUBU, Fat Albert FUBU.
For us, by you.
Hey, that shit used to be lit though.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
For us, by
Yeah,
us.
the Fat Albert. I wanted that shit so bad. Buy
Man,
it.
you like the African Fat Albert Fubu Prince.
It didn't become. No, it started out. No.
What are you
He
talking? What do
liked
you
it.
know about
that
Fubu?
was popular here.
Get outta here. You don't know nothing about clothing and
people
freaking
didn't want to
Fubu.
start wearing it, so
Boo.
they started wearing it.
You don't know about
Lorraine
Fubu.
got on
She
Fubu
got
right
no
now.
Fubu.
She got on Fubu shoes.
I got on JC Penney.
She got on Fubu
That
shoes.
should be sad
with
as
a
hell when
Fila
you see a
jumpsuit.
dude in like a full FUBU outfit now. You be like, damn, he on hard times.
On me, nigga.
How do you feel about men 40 and older saying lit?
I've seen
I
that
don't have a
online
problem
today.
with it. I mean, it's just a word.
Yeah, it's
I
just a
think
word.
But
it's
why do people think just because you're 40, especially when you're 36, saying that
Yeah.
shit?
That's just the
I
way.
think-
he's
That's
actually
what it is.
35.
Yeah, I think
Eh.
my problem is 40-year-olds dressing my age.
But
Yeah.
Ill has a thing for that. He said that, you got to stay fresh. So you
No,
gotta-
no,
That's
it's not-
different though. He's moderate fresh though. He's not. Like,
I like to consider myself full-fledged fresh.
yeah, but you know what I'm saying? But it's not.
He
It's
said
not.
moderate fresh.
But listen. See, y'all making it bad. God damn it.
It sounds bad.
It
I feel like I'm full-fledged fresh all the
you
time.
but it's moderate. It's not like you're not wearing shit that a 17-year-old.
No. Like,
just-
and I
it's
agree
like
with
you
you on
just
that.
made
I
it
agree with
fresh.
you on that. I think that there's a difference of being like conscious about fashion.
You could dress like Nino Brown, like Anthony be dressing.
Ooh, that's the first time I snorted on
Don't
the
try to
radio.
shift the. Look how you gonna try to shift.
He trying to.
You dressing like
shift.
No,
you know.
I think it's important that like as you get older that you paying attention to like your
Yeah.
fashion and stuff like that. Because I feel that sometimes these niggas get old and then all the things they're wearing are sweatpants and t-shirts. And
See,
freaking like
yeah.
wearing Timberland boots from 1995.
Yeah.
So like I think it's just just dress how you comfortable. I don't think
but
that's
see,
how I feel.
what I mean by moderate fresh is like you see what's in fashion, right?
Yeah.
But you like, okay, this is cool, but this is too tight, so I'm gonna get it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
You mean the cats to be
Nah.
like 40 years old wearing the tight pants?
Yeah.
You know, Pharrell wears tight pants,
Yeah, but Pharrell can
looks
do that.
like
He's a
20.
tastemaker.
but he's 45.
But he's a tastemaker.
What's that?
What's it?
A tastemaker is a trendsetter. Like they give the clothes to
It's
these
you,
people so
Anthony.
that people can wear these clothes. So people can buy these clothes.
Okay, I didn't know that terminology for it. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's a whole nother thing too. 40 don't look like it used to be. Like
Yeah.
freaking Jay-Z's 45, 46.
Jay-Z looks 64. I fucks with Jay-Z, but he don't.
Ooh, I never heard
He's
that one.
here tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to the show. I'm going to go see him.
Jay-Z's
You know,
one of my favorite rappers.
that's another thing that people have to realize. Like Rakim is the same age as Jay-Z. Jay-Z has longevity because he came out later.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He got popular later, where
Yeah.
Rakim got popular in 89, Jay-Z got popular in 94, 95. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like we don't look at him as the same age, but he's the same age. Nas. You know what I'm saying? That nigga's still
Nas
fresh.
don't look 40.
No, Nas don't look his age. I mean, Nas looks young as fuck. Larray. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
don't see.
I had to go there because you
Do
roll
not
your
pull
eyes.
me in.
You roll your
I
eyes.
didn't roll my eyes.
Why did you roll your eyes? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Nothing.
All that to say,
He just likes to throw me under the bus.
I do. But all that to say, like lingo, right? Like the black culture is nothing more than lingo. Like we come up with phrases, we come up with words. It freaking gets adopted to like popular culture.
Ebonics.
And, yeah, ebonics. So within that,
Lingo.
like
Black
cat.
people don't say lingo, y'all. We say ebonics.
I don't say ebonics. I say lingo.
You say lingo or ebonics?
I say lingo.
I say
Yeah,
lingo.
but you
I'm a
old
grown
as
ass man, dog.
Yeah, y'all old as shit.
And, I think being illiterate isn't cool. But I think that like our culture, like we're gonna always throw around phrases. It don't matter how old you are, how young you are. Like if you paying attention to culture, you're gonna say the things that people were saying during that time. You know what I'm saying? So like cat, cool, fresh, dope.
Those are actual words though, so it ain't really illiterate.
Now they are. No, now they are. Like
Yeah.
they've been added into like the
Cat
dictionary.
was definitely a word. It's been around for thousands of years.
Well,
That's my
Cool.
word to cat.
Lit. Those are all
but
words.
that comes from the
But-
jazz era.
You're changing the definition of
yeah,
the word.
I get what you're
You know what
saying,
I'm
but well, I mean, it's not really illiterate though. Like it's not like
Well, no, a lot of these terms, a lot of these slang terms, they're adding into the
Yeah.
to the dictionary to make them real live words and shit.
Yeah, like
You know?
it's a lot of words that white folks didn't say until black niggas started saying them.
black niggas.
Black niggas.
Yeah.
Black niggas.
Black niggas. Goddamn,
That was kinda
black
rough.
niggas.
That was kinda
All
rough.
the niggas, the black,
Black.
niggas.
That shit
Niggas.
sounded angry to
Right.
Black niggas?
Black niggas.
Black white nigga owe me money.
Black ass niggas.
Black niggas.
That was kind of rough, y'all. I'm sorry. He's like, why you gotta say black and nigga? Why they gotta be in the same context? Why does black nigga? I think nigga says it enough.
Shout out to all my white niggas and Mexican niggas. You black niggas.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Fuck all y'all black niggas. I'm down with the white niggas.
You wanted to talk about something.
Yeah, I wanted to talk
that.
about being aggressive in comedy. What do you think about that? What is aggressive?
Black niggas.
Yeah.
Black
Black
niggas.
Just
aggressive as
black
hell.
humor.
What
Black
about
Black humor
Black humor.
is considered aggressive.
Yeah.
But white people talk about like rape and like all types of shit.
No one's scared of white people.
Well,
That's true.
But let's give our audience some
Context.
kind of context of that. So typically, right now in the scene, there are, for whatever reason it is, separate.
Segregated.
Segregated. There you go. That's a better word. in comedy right now. So you notice that there's a lot of comedians that are white that do talk about rape, and they say derogatory things in regards to their family members, mothers, grandmothers, whatever.
Suicide's aggressive.
Rape,
Yeah, they talk a lot about that. And then
molestation.
yeah. And then you have the black comics who their comedy tends to go a little bit of a different direction.
Talks about black
Shit
culture.
But each group right now is fighting, or not really fighting, but complaining about the other group, saying their jokes are, too aggressive, insensitive.
Yeah.
Is it a
But yet
national
they're doing-
conversation or a local conversation?
Right now, this is I know it to be local.
But there are people who would pass on comedians like me and Anthony because we're aggressive, because of the way we talk. But I don't consider us aggressive though. Like we don't talk about super fucked up shit. It's just the way we talk is like.
As a producer, how do you feel?
I pass on comics who call their grandmas a C word. I don't like that. I definitely don't like some of the female comics who talk about rape and then complain. I don't.
I got an interjection in that.
Though, like, because I don't think everybody has a joke about how their grandma's a C word.
No.
C word in general is just like, it's bad. I don't know why.
I never say shit.
On producing, like that's an important thing because you just said something important as a producer, somebody who puts together events and what you do and you don't like. So like if you are a producer who prefers and doesn't prefer a certain style of comedy based off of your personal preferences, does that necessarily cater to your audience? Because that's exactly what they're talking about. They're talking about producers who have their own personal preferences, and because of that, they're not booking them.
Right. So I do have personal preference as well, and I try to definitely address that. But also, when you have a comedian who comes into, because you figure a lot of artists are activists in some kind of way or utilize their platform for that. But the general public who are coming to see these comics, they don't know the background context or anything that's kind of going on. So they come in and they hear a comedian like right now, okay, so the hot topic right now, well, not really hot topic, but it is people are actually coming out about their sexual abusers, so that's huge. So then booking in a woman who's talking about like rape in a way where like they turn it around to, or they talk about a male's penis for the whole time and I want this average and I don't want this because I want my uterus and all these kind of things. Sometimes the general public is not receptive to that, and crowds will walk.
They're not receptive to it if they don't know the comic.
Exactly.
Now, if they know the comic, like some of these comics who are pretty big, like a Aries Spears or like a Louis C.K.
I wouldn't book Aries Spears if you paid me.
But what I'm saying, I understand.
They paid me.
I understand that.
No, I wouldn't.
Why not? Aries cool.
No, he's not.
Well, the 5 seconds I talked to him, I was like, "Hey," he was like, "What up?"
He would
and that was
never
cool.
have you on a show of his because you're black.
Oh yeah, that's not cool.
But
He
he's
doesn't
also
book black
disabled,
comedians
so he
with
might
himself.
be a little bit open to it.
We love you.
No.
I would like to be booked on your show.
I don't have any personal preference towards that.
Next time you come to the
loves
improv.
So then I would bring that personal preference. I see the way he moves, and that's not how I want my brand. I don't want people. I understand that some female comics and some black comics don't want another black comic because they feel like they tell the same joke. But that's so narrow-minded. That's so narrow-minded. You
like
don't know
me and
what
Anthony don't got the same jokes.
No,
None of our jokes are the same.
You don't know. So for him to be like that, I'm good on him.
Yeah,
that's not something I'm trying to promote.
I think
You're
it's
right.
dangerous just because it's starting to build like a certain style of politics in the scene, and it's becoming segregated. It's becoming really racially driven in
Racially, sexually driven. It's just you have to you gotta understand when the joke just ain't for you.
Yeah.
Just if someone says something you don't like, first off, you are fucking idiot if you go to a comic show and get offended by something somebody says. You're at a place where they're making fun of things, so you're an idiot if you get mad at anything they say. Just understand, okay, that joke ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? Don't go on Yelp or don't do some bullshit
don't
afterwards.
Get somebody's shit. Don't shut somebody's
just like,
shit
okay,
down.
I'll never go see you again.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm done. But people, it's an egotistical thing. People,
I feel like it's
flex their power.
Here's my problem. I don't understand. Like everybody believes what they want to believe, and I, in the crowd, have to listen to you talk about religion, how you don't believe in it, and how this, that, and the other. And it's okay. If I say anything about it, then, it's 2017, this is Denver, you should be used to that. But as soon as I make a little joke about something that you don't like, you wanna blackball me. That shit is crazy
Hypocrisy.
to me. Yeah.
That's all it is.
Black balls. That's all I gotta say. No.
And for all our listeners, the great and mighty Joel Osteen will lead you to salvation as long as you pay your tithes on time.
Everybody.
I think one time we had a comedian, April. I can never say her last name right, but she talks a lot about, because she is in healthcare, about the hippy dippy people and their beliefs, and like get your kids their shots. And the first time she performed that specific day, there were a lot of people, including Ill, in the audience, and I was like, man, I wonder how they're gonna receive her.
I didn't mind,
but it went really well because it's funny. It's funny, the differences, and it's funny to see someone else's extreme preference.
Tell them why you said me, including L. Tell them why.
Because we talk a lot about, your conspiracy theories about.
I had my kid at home,
which is cool.
Yeah, my girl had her kid at home.
Yeah.
Standing up, like, in everything.
Everything.
Because people
it was all natural.
You laughing, but that's the thing.
No, dude, I caught my baby as it was coming out. Yes.
See,
It's actually better for the human body. If
I heard. That's why I asked them. Yeah,
and let gravity instead of you
it's
pushing.
safer because there's no nosocomial infections at your home to have your child at home too.
Unless you're a filthy motherfucker, I'm sure there's some nosocomial in your goddamn house.
Anthony's not having kids at home. Is what he's saying.
It's true. But it's a very, what you guys are talking about is a very Colorado topic.
Yeah.
Because Colorado is so progressive in the ways that it engages these topics. Where if you're in a Detroit, or if you're in a Chicago, or if you're in a Atlanta or DC, it's not as shocking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People ain't tripping about you talking about poverty or talking about how you view white folks.
Basically, we too black for Colorado is all he's trying to say.
It's basically what I am trying to say.
Yeah, I think that might be another thing too. But this is the thing. It's not the audiences. It's not them.
No,
it's not the
them.
audience.
It's the producers.
That's what the fuck I'm saying.
It's the producers.
I will make a crowd laugh. I make the crowd laugh.
That's the part that pisses me off. It's not the crowd. It's other comedians and it's the producers of these shows telling you what you shouldn't do, and you shouldn't stifle art like that. Let the crowd be the judge. You know what I'm saying?
Comedy,
if I come out there,
from what I've noticed too, it's not even the producers; it's the other comics that are in that
It's
clique
both.
with that producer.
yeah, it's both.
Some of the comics are producers too, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Well, that's the problem. That's the hugest problem right there.
Yeah, I think anytime you give comics, or I can't say comics, anytime you give an artist power like that, they're gonna abuse it. Artists abuse it, and I think it's good that people like LeRae and even all these other producers that are out there that are doing it because they're not connected to the scene. They don't have art that they're actually trying to push forward. And the only thing they're trying to do is give a platform for artists to be able to perform. I think it gets, in my personal opinion, I think it's important that artists know how to produce events. I don't think that is something they shouldn't do, but I think it gets real dangerous when they become the gatekeepers for those, because it becomes ego, it becomes freaking territorial, it becomes I'm gonna keep this person out, and they develop a culture around themselves that freaking alienate everybody else that don't fit into that bullshit.
Yeah.
And I think that's a dangerous thing.
That's what, but I mean, comedy has always kind of been like that, and that's why Def Comedy Jam was so important and so big, because you got to see the flip side of comedy you never seen before.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah, look, if anybody knows Russell Simmons, please, Anthony Armstrong would like
And
to be a
Tyreek
part
Dillon.
of. He got a few more years to go. Anthony Armstrong is ready right
Fuck
now.
this nigga. Hey, Anthony got a few years left. This nigga 67.
Damn.
I'm 23. You need to book me. Look, he got mad as fuck.
Let me tell you something. You can talk about my age all you want to, nigga, but you can't see your dick right now because your stomach in the way.
I can see my dick.
You get the fuck out of
I
here.
told you I'm blessed. Goddamn.
He's got to.
You gotta do a barrel roll to see your dick for 3 seconds, motherfucker.
That's not true. That's not true. I just gotta look down, baby.
Look down and lift up. Goddamn it. You got suspenders that you tape under your stomach.
Dude, that's only white people
on your back.
that got dicks like that. I am black.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't don't concur with
Why?
that, guys.
Don't you know Samson is right there listening?
Who is Samson?
Samson, I apologize, man. He a young cat. He's just saying shit. He don't know about white people like I do.
Oh yeah, my bad.
So this right here, this is it.
It's fucking small as fuck.
Oh,
See,
Yeah,
look,
Samson.
Look, he said his dick small as fuck.
So
it's some whole gas like
Who we talk about? Look, see, he ain't a
I
white
ain't
nigga. Anyway,
see this right here. This is a good example. So they assume this is aggressive comedy.
this is just us shooting the shit.
You start hurting people's feelings, they call you
That's
aggressive.
what people are sensitive these
And
days, man.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
used to dozens. Like black folks, we play dozens. We go at each other. I play dozens with my mom. So like,
I do too.
Yeah,
you cussing my mom
man,
out.
wait, you met my mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
roast at the family functions. It's a roast fest.
part of the
Motherfuckers get
culture.
roasted.
Yes.
Everybody.
And like people outside our culture, they ain't used to that. Like we go at each other. Like Anthony be throwing jabs. You be
But that's
throwing jabs.
love to
how
me.
That's how we show love.
It's just
Yeah.
because they don't know. It's not part of their culture, just like Il just said. And they want to impose
But they the reason why we like
their
that.
culture onto everyone else and then suppress any kind of freedom to
Yeah.
express
They're
yourself.
they're telling you, oh, that's inappropriate. Do it like we do it. Type
Like
shit.
last
Yeah.
night. So last night was a really good night. I'm not going to say that there weren't people upset that there was a drag show there, because there were. We saw some of that. We heard some
That's
comments.
interesting.
You know,
Yeah.
so that was going on too. But overall, you know, it was a success, and there's always going to be people who.
We got those two black ladies that come in and they had a ball. they had a
Oh,
blast.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back up on that. Like, so for one, how did the drag show go? Because I didn't get to like really get the.
Yeah, I haven't posted any pictures. I'm going to. The queens that came were very diverse. We had one that was Latino and
You
a
holler at
little
any?
thicker, and beautiful
holler at any?
makeup, amazing. So I think the three that we had, like if we were doing a contest, one had amazing makeup. One had an amazing like dance show, and one was just very authentic, just very different, and that was really cool to see. But it went really well, and what I was impressed by too is their families showed out like deep.
That's
We're
dope.
talking moms, dads, sisters, cousins, like
That's-
grandma.
Shout out the country ass Mark that was in the crowd.
Yeah,
It was a hillbilly. I'm like, what the fuck is he
He
doing
didn't
here?
look like he even
Yeah.
belonged, but and they were giving singles out. Like it was a really
Yeah,
good time.
they had a little. They clinked up a little bit. There was some
Yeah.
money up there.
They were lit.
Huh?
Yeah.
They were lit.
Yeah, it was a good show all around. Like Meaner Minor performed. He killed it.
Yeah, he did a really
You know
good
what I'm
job.
saying? Zenith.
I think the thing, you know, when I was thinking about things last night, the thing that I was most excited about was that I had three amazing artists who I gravitate towards met each other for the first time.
That's
So
dope.
it was Anthony. He met Zenas for the first time. Zenas
thought
met
he- I-
him.
I thought he-
No,
no.
first time they met.
Okay.
We
Meaner,
was around each other, but we didn't meet.
Okay.
yeah, Meaner Minor. He had never met Zenas. So them just meeting and
EB
being
too. EB
yeah.
met.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
him in the house.
Yeah. You know, everyone met, and, you know, Meaner Minor, he's a Google expert, so him and EB kind of connected on
yeah.
some stuff, so that's going to be helpful.
Everybody needs to connect with me to mine.
Yeah. His fam came out. His sister was there. She's come to several events, too. She also said that we did an excellent job with him on the radio show last
Oh,
weekend,
Meaner
which
Minor.
is, you know, airing
yeah.
tonight, because I guess he has a hard time. Like, he's so much in his artist.
He
That
came out,
he-
man. He was talking. He was
Yeah, he kicked it that night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he
So these
actually.
don't come out right away. When do they?
Come out
We're
next week.
live right now.
We're live right now
On
on
YouTube.
YouTube, but the app on the radio comes out next week.
Okay.
The other thing that I did to him, just because of doing two events back to back, which is what it was called, he came to do his sound check at 5:30, and I thought he would leave and just come back because he didn't perform till 10, but he hung with me the whole night. So
He's a good dude. I like that guy
That's
a lot.
dope.
I like, you know, everybody. Back to that, like I like everybody who was on that set. You know what I'm saying? Like it's good people. And I think that's another thing about the culture in entertainment is that it becomes such an ego-driven
Yeah.
thing that like you can't be cool with motherfuckers. Like you want to be cool with them, but you got to get past their ego to even be
And I
a
think
human to them.
that was Zenus's first drag show, and I think he was impressed too. Like he wasn't sure what to expect, and
He seems open though.
yeah, he was very open to a lot of things.
Yeah,
so
he seems open.
sorry I cut you off.
I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
I know, I'm
so thank
sorry.
you.
Motherfucker, hat too
I
tight.
do that.
So
what?
with
Hat too
DU,
My hat is loose, bitch.
it's interesting because I feel like DU it wants to be progressive, and this is just straight up. I feel like DU wants to be progressive, it wants to be culturally diverse, it wants to be doing all these things, but the actuality is a lot of the body that's there, the student body.
That's exactly what it was.
It doesn't
last night.
necessarily want that. It's so like, you know, as much as they like talk about diversity and talk about like we need to get new, you know, and one thing
Yeah,
I'll say
it's
about
weird up
DU,
there.
DU will not hesitate to put a Mexican student on the front of their application book, and they won't hesitate to like go ahead and highlight like the black students in that school that are doing things. You know what I'm saying? But as far as the support that actually goes into that school for the actual minorities, I don't see it. And like DU also has a tendency, and I love you, DU, but it seems like within that, like it has a tendency to like say these things, but not necessarily back up its efforts all the time.
I think from what we saw, there's a lot of, like you said, student resistance as well.
Well, I don't fuck with you like that, DU. Y'all on bullshit. That's what's going on, goddammit. That's what it is. They want to give you the appearance that they're doing shit.
It's weird.
But they don't. They'll start a process to get in front of them and say, oh, well, we're doing this for the students, and it never comes to fruition, or it'll happen, and then they'll defund it, and it'll go away, and shit like that, just to say they're doing stuff when they really aren't doing things. Because you was talking about how the money was divvied up to the student groups, and how the traditionally white groups got 50 grand, where the other groups got 500.
Yeah, I heard about
Damn,
that.
see, that's
Bullshit.
fucked up,
I heard
yeah.
about that.
Bullshit.
I think
Let's beat these motherfuckers up, man. Shit.
I feel you. I'm cheer you on because I ain't much help.
You ain't much help,
I'll
goddamn.
just cheer you on. While
hey man, you got a
just-
mouthpiece.
yeah.
Use your mouthpiece, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you to
Talk that
I'm gonna
shit.
tell you to Stone Cold Stunner somebody.
Yeah.
Something nice. You better do it too.
What forms of activism or social justice do you engage in?
Absolutely none.
No, you do.
No.
I've seen your page, man. You doing stuff. I've seen.
I mean,
You can tell Tyree's trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
kind of going through that process of kind of looking at himself and then
it's
looking
not
at the
making
world.
sense right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Like, I mean,
You got so many battlefronts, though, bro. Like, so many battlefronts that you can engage in with you being who you are.
Yeah, I mean, I'm against police brutality. Of course, everybody is. I don't think it's right. I guess I'm okay with women having rights. I mean, I'm playing, y'all. I'm playing. Don't blackball me, Denver female community. Like, I love y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot.
I'm just trying to make people okay with who I am.
Well-
I'm a black man. I'm a handicapped man. I'm a fat man. But I'm a funny man. I just want people to be okay with all of that. I want you to be okay with all of those things. So, like, if you look at another handicapped person, you like, oh, this motherfucker's cool. He's just like Tyree. Or you look at a nigga and you like, oh, this nigga cool. He just like Tyree, or a fat nigga, and you're gonna be like, oh, this fat nigga cool. He just like that. Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
You ain't got no neck either. You need to start a group for no neck motherfuckers.
You need to start a
Called
group
Turn and Look
for
at Me.
bald and goatee looking motherfuckers.
You guys go in.
I hate you.
So,
all
like,
good.
hate you.
have you ever heard of an artist named Kaylin Heffernan?
No.
Yeah, you.
Oh, you told me
have-
about
I
this.
briefly
Yeah.
talked to him about her and Colorado ADAPT because they were looking to do a fundraiser, and I know she performed, but I really think Tyree.
He's got a powerful voice that
too
should be at that
aggressive.
table.
Yes,
I'm too
Because you are,
At that
because
table.
no, you're not
I'm
too
just
aggressive.
playing.
I think you need to be
No,
aggressive.
This group of people, let me just tell you, the Colorado ADAPT group, they are fighting for, they say free our people. And the reason is because they're not necessarily black, but they're handicapped. So
Yeah.
in the way society is they don't think about Medicaid for just health care. It's so you can get around,
Yeah.
access a ride. It's so you can have a chair. It's so you can get out of your fucking house and be free.
Medicaid is crazy.
And the whole
man.
Medicaid thing right now is crazy, but Colorado has assembled a group of people since the 70s that are so strong that people from other states have sent them here. They call us the Underground Railroad here for handicapped people.
Whoa.
I don't know
You gonna be real?
I should be the leader. Yeah.
And their leader right now, her name is Dawn, and
black?
she's completely amazing. No, she
That's a skit.
is amazing.
It is. That's funny.
Actually,
It's funny.
I just went to a caucus, which I'll invite you to.
Okay.
They're always in 5 Points.
I don't go down
and-
there. That's the.
Whatever.
I'm just playing.
That shows how hood you
I
are.
told you I was from Park
These
Hill.
are from Park Hill.
We don't fuck with that. No, I'm just
But
playing. Yeah.
5 Points is gentrified now, so you can go
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Just kidding.
No, that's real.
There's
That's real.
some niggas
Anyway,
out there.
she talked about what they're doing with these, with this administration and what changes, and they come out and talk to the public, and this is the help we need right now. This is kind of what we're
Yeah,
doing.
I'm down.
How can you help us and our white allies, and and then we break apart into like people of color go into one room and the white people stay in the other room, and we
So
caucus.
y'all got segregation?
No, this is why, because people of color, for some reason, we feel guilty for the white people, our allies. And we shouldn't feel guilty.
Yeah.
So we find that we're more apt to talk about what we're feeling, what we're going through, and then we go back and we
close the door.
groups-
We have some real ass conversations.
yeah,
going
real
to?
ass conversations.
I've been to one. I think I've been to one or two meetings over there.
and
but
then we go back together.
I
And
know
we
y'all
talk.
don't invite this nigga because
No,
he'll be having
I
jokes.
do.
Start going.
yeah,
Yes.
Anthony. Actually,
You gonna start
Anthony.
going?
Anthony actually went to so I do a lot of the site visits for them.
Yeah.
Like Wednesday, I am doing a site visit with Black Women for Politics on Wednesday. So that's one of the site visits I'm doing. But Anthony actually, when I was on the first Giving Project cohort, so we raised $70,000 for local social justice groups,
that's
and
dope.
Anthony went to the night of the giving with me. Anthony actually this week, so a lot of people don't know this, and I probably should talk about it a lot more. I always talk about RMMFI and the stuff I do, but not really in detail.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a part of their leadership panel. And
Tell them what
actually-
RMMFI is.
Rocky Mountain Microfinance has a boot camp for people who are business curious and they
Okay.
have an idea, and they help them actually start a business to become sustainable and self-sufficient, and it's more geared toward people with a lower income, basically.
Okay.
But what they do is they give you the tools you need, and then you have a community supporting you, and at the end you can earn loan dollars. So a small micro loan. But so I'm on their leadership panel, and so I organize all the post boot camp activities, workshops, stuff like that. I mentor through there, and Anthony actually went to a retrospective, which was a loan pitch. There were 8 potential or people who are starting their own businesses, talking about their marketing, their operations, their management, and what they needed money for. And then we actually and Anthony participated in this. Each person who gives their pitch, they get 6 minutes and 8 slides. That's it. And then the community, we write suggestions if they have an understanding of their business, what they did good, and they get that feedback along with possible loan dollars. But Anthony went to that with me. He stayed during the social stuff after too. And then he also, another boot camp person, Heirloom Catering, she went through the program. She actually started using a commissary kitchen in Temple over off Curtis Street. And she had her grand opening there, and Anthony went to that with me as well.
Anthony's engaged. Actually,
Yeah.
I feel like Anthony, and this is how I feel about you, Anthony, just so you know. I feel like Anthony is one of the more progressive comics right now that are actually talking about social relevant topics in the community. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you're talking about like racial tension, the ways that he addresses it. He brings up real uncomfortable conversations that people don't necessarily
Which is
want.
needed.
Right.
This stuff you guys are talking about, the aggressive, that's needed.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Let me just say, first of all, I don't give a fuck about you niggas.
He
that's
doesn't
the thing.
like
I
us
don't
saying
give a
good
fuck
things
about the niggas.
him.
He don't give a fuck
you.
about the niggas.
Second of all I'm doing is looking for a rich white woman to fund my career. That's it.
I
Only
just
reason I'm
want-
going to this place. I almost had me one. Goddamn.
I just want
hunting.
a poor
I'm hunting
African
for.
bush bitch. I want the
African
complete, I want,
Bush.
Why she gotta be a bitch, man? Why can't she be a black woman?
See, look, you gonna make this a thing, goddammit.
You just made it a thing.
I just want to teach her English.
Oh no.
And I want her to be in my life forever.
That's why they going after you, bro.
It is a little.
You said
I
African bush bitch and teach her English. Like,
well, she's a bush woman. She probably don't know English.
Man, I can't help you right now, bro. You out on you in the middle of the ocean with no life preserver right now.
I love black women.
You can't say that afterwards.
I can say whatever I want.
You really can. You really have the freedom of speech.
I didn't say,
but you have no PR person to go ahead and bring your ass back in. So like that's something that you yeah.
I'm not too.
You see how Chris Brown, Chris Brown has done some outlandish shit, but he's got good PR people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's still relevant.
Was that bad?
No, let me tell you something. This is what it is. If you have money and power and you can dance, you can beat bitches up and still be famous. That's what it is.
See, Ann just said what I said wasn't that bad.
But you said African bush bitch.
You have to. So
you can't say bitch. You can't call them bitches.
It's just a combination.
You can say bad bitch.
You said combination of things that just like appalled so many people in one in one little phrase.
Listen, where's the camera?
It's all over us. We got
Get over it. I said the shit.
How motherfucking dumb you got to be to look behind you for the camera?
There's a camera right here, you dumb fuck.
I know. Your camera, though. You look for the camera pointing at you. You like, is it right here? Yeah, we just been filming the back of your head the whole time, motherfucker.
Man.
So one of the All Real Radio, the platform that we have, is to, to make community better and for the people of color to, be progressive in our movement and looked at.
Yeah, I'm not knocking anything that you say. I'm saying like just straight up, like people who are gonna receive it, they receive it in different ways.
Yeah. I take that into consideration, but I also
you don't
say what I want to say too.
Exactly. Yeah. But and that's fine. Like you should say whatever the fuck you want to say. Yeah. It's not a problem saying what you want to say. I think that like. This is what I've noticed.
He said rich white woman. I said the complete opposite.
The way, and this is what I'm gonna say. The way that Anthony, because I've seen Anthony say some outlandish shit, and then within him saying some outlandish shit, he says it in a way that they can digest the shit. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when you throwing haymakers and you hit a nigga right in the stomach, and you on freaking kick.
What you think?
Tyrese is young.
I know. I know what it is.
First of all, it's
Tyrese.
Tyrese is the nigga that was crying.
He was crying. He lost his kids.
And don't feel like because I'm just learning to be not misogynistic. So
she's the biggest misogynist at the table. Actually.
Yeah.
So, I mean, here's the thing.
That's
I say
why
a lot
I
of
can't
shit.
engage in any of the stuff going on in Colorado comedy right now because
I say a lot of shit, but I don't mean a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, see, that's the thing. You saying shit you don't mean, not realizing that you might have to answer for that. So if you just say something and you don't have any real reason to say it and someone calls you out on it, then you look still silly.
That's
why I don't give a fuck about telling the
jokes
jokes that I tell because I know I'm willing to back that up. I might be saying it real fucked up and stupid, but if you come for me, I got a whole bunch of information I can give you on the reason why I said this to at least make you see my point that I'm not just fucking with you. It's a point to what I'm saying.
They turned this into an intervention. They
trying
to make me less aggressive, y'all.
No, it's not that. I think it's important to say outlandish shit. It's important to shock people. It's important to push people's boundaries. But it's just like it's like, for example, Lil Yachty, right? Like some people could listen to somebody like that and be like, oh, this kid is fucking ignorant. But if you listen to some of the context and what he's saying, he might be saying some of the most deep shit and you just are catching on to like the fucking fuckboy shit that you feel. Yeah. So like I feel like if you're doing art, especially when you're doing shocking art, right? Yeah. I feel like you have to have like the context and the depth of what it is, and you have to be able to back it up. Because if you're gonna say something outlandish, then you better be ready for the battle that's gonna come with it. Because that's what happens when you say shocking shit. Like Malcolm X says shocking shit all the time, but he was like, "You want to go? Let's do it." He's gonna have the.
We can go because I only talk to black women, so I can say I feel.
That's a whole nother battle right there. Though. Like specifically with black women too, because like black women are the most oppressed, in my opinion, and because they're the most oppressed, like if you're gonna go after them, go after them in a way that you educating and feeding them and uplifting them. But if
that's what I'm saying. I don't talk.
You can't call them an African fucking bush bitch bitches.
That's a specific type of black woman. I didn't call every black woman an African bush bitch.
I know African women, and if they heard you say African bush bitches,
They will be like my
Hell
cousin
of offended.
I'm playing.
Disclaimer. On my part, I'm not a part of this.
But I see. Here's the thing.
I am not a part of this.
Look, I am not saying specifically African women. I am not specifically saying
But
black women.
if you say African bush
There-
bitches, every
That's not
African from Ghana to Ethiopia is gonna feel some sort of way because that's a
Yeah.
continent. It's a whole motherfucking continent. I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying.
Just say
What
my
you-
bad.
My bad.
That's it. That's it.
Look, Anthony's like, if this nigga don't shut up.
That's it.
No. I'm just, I'm
So
just.
we're live right now on YouTube. We have one person watching.
Hey,
So
how y'all
if you're-
doing? Thanks
What's
for being
up?
here.
if
What do you
you're
think? What do you think?
listening,
Am I
what
too
do you
aggressive?
think? I can do live chat here.
What they
with
say?
me.
Did they say anything?
Nobody has said
No,
anything.
but for real, this is what I don't think people understand about comedy. And when you want to be a particular way, you have to go on a journey of exploration of yourself because you want to have a point to the things you're saying. So when you get into it, you realize like, well, damn, I really don't have a point. You know what I'm saying? What's my point? What's important to me? What do I want to tell the world in my jokes? What am I trying to let them get out of this? And so you start trying to fumble around with things and you start saying things, you start doing things, and you be fucking up because, you know what I'm saying, it's a process. You have to figure out what it is. And, you know what I'm saying, you have to go through these things. And I think that's where Tyree's at right now.
Yeah,
when he's trying to
definitely.
figure things out, like, what's my point? This, that, and the other.
Yeah, see, but me just talking shit is different than me actually on stage. Like on stage, I don't say shit like that. My jokes have purpose on stage. Like just shooting the shit, I'm just saying shit. Like that was just.
Well, you know you own the
Yeah, I'm probably.
So it's like it's a performance.
Yeah.
So if somebody get on that motherfucker and get to going in, well, you mean African bush bitch, you gotta answer that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So motherfucker
Can we-
make a whole
can we
video about your
abbreviate?
ass.
'Cause that's a lot.
You know videos go viral.
ABB. It's ABB.
Yo, man, yo, don't nobody know you be blackball shit. You don't even know why shit. You
Yeah.
said bush bitch. So
I didn't mean to call y'all African bush bitches.
That was just a combination. That was like, wow. That was a combo right
Yeah,
there.
see,
Like,
I'm more
goddamn.
like Tyson. I'm a Tyson.
You throwing combos like a motherfucker.
I ain't a
yo.
Mayweather. I ain't on the defensive end. I'm Tyson with it.
Like you're double negative.
Maybe
Double
I
negative.
am aggressive. Am I aggressive?
I don't know. You ain't aggressive
This
to
really
me.
isn't an
Yeah.
intervention, so I don't.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you on that, sir. But
Yeah. This is gonna come up like 10 years later,
Well-
and they're gonna be like,
You work at a comedy club. What's your behind the scene like view of what's going on in the comedy world right now?
what do you mean?
Like what's your whole what's your thing? You see behind the scenes like what's going on with the bookers and the comedians that come in and out. You know, you just recently had a well shit, she's here now. I guess we probably won't talk about nobody in particular.
Who?
I was talking about the person that's out here now.
Oh, Adele?
Yeah.
What about her?
No, just how like you're seeing these older comedians start to kind of come back onto the scene and they're
Yeah.
around and just, you know, the thing. And you're noticing stuff. I noticed that there's no new material.
Yeah,
It's
like,
the same shit from Def Comedy Jam. You like, it's
Yeah.
been 20 fucking years.
yeah, that's crazy to me. Like, I don't know if it's that I'm sure they're writing new shit. I'm sure they're writing new shit. They just don't want to say it in a professional gig. Like
That's
they
what it's
want-
about, though.
Yeah, but not when you're held to a status like this. Okay, this new joke may not hit like this joke that
Dude,
hit on
20
Def
years
Comedy
later, though,
Jam.
come on now.
Yeah, I understand what
Now,
you're saying.
you got the
wholeheartedly.
people, you got motherfuckers that do, as a comedian, if you're a comedian, you should be putting out a special every 2 years.
Yeah.
That's just, that's
like-
an hour worth of material every 2 years. at
Okay,
least.
so I do know a guy that's been in the game like 15, 20 years. And he's when I was writing with him, because we're not as cool as we used to be, he had like 3-4 notebooks full of shit. He had new shit, but when I see him do professional stuff, he doesn't do the news, or he'll try to work 1 or 2 new jokes in, but he still does.
But that doesn't make any sense, though. That makes absolutely no sense.
What?
That you would have a notebook full of shit
Yeah.
you scared to do it.
that isn't coming to the
he
professional
doesn't-
thing.
He's not, but he knows those jokes that he's been doing for that long are gonna hit.
That's just, That's no confidence, dude. That makes absolutely no sense what you're saying.
Oh, I completely agree.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but
Yeah.
that makes absolutely no sense for you to write jokes, but you only do this set amount of jokes every single time you do something.
Yeah.
Once you get an hour, you need to, when you're starting out,
Yeah.
you get an hour, you just work that hour
Yeah.
until you get to a point where you can take that hour. You take that hour, put it out, but that whole time you're doing the hour, you're writing jokes behind the scenes. You're still going to open mics and you're trying those jokes out. You're building your hour until you can get that hour on tape, and then you start on that new hour.
Yeah.
You know, that's the way it should work. You shouldn't be doing the same hour 20 years later. That's just
that
being
is
lazy.
kinda-
But it also makes you see why they're at the level they're at, why they never popped, why they never blew up, is because their work ethic. That's all that is.
Yeah.
You aren't putting in the work behind the scenes, so you don't have new material, which is completely unacceptable 20 years later.
Yeah, I
Completely.
agree with you on that.
That's one thing I have noticed is that another thing I noticed is funny doesn't matter as much.
That's an interesting one right there. Is it? You think they're just living off of like yesterday's
it's
bread?
marketability.
It's marketability. It's how
Yeah.
many people can you bring in. That's why these internet stars can come straight off the internet and sell out a
An
comedy
improv.
club.
Yeah.
And they're terrible. I mean, absolutely
Some of them are good.
terrible.
We've had
But
two
most
of
of them are terrible.
Who's that?
Can we agree that how was Country
I-
Wayne? I ain't see Country
Wayne was good.
Country Wayne.
What's
Them
that?
twins was terrible.
I don't know.
No, I heard the twins.
I'm not trying to
did
lose
good.
my job.
Yeah.
I can
Oh,
say
yeah,
I can
oh,
say
maybe
ABB,
you will.
but I can't say stuff about my job.
Okay.
See, he got it.
He politically correct now.
I know there
He ain't
was
critically correct around
a Ghanaian
African
guy. I don't
booty
know.
bitches.
I love African women, so stop it
So
right
stop.
I'm just fucking with him.
Stop. The
there. That hurt
Ghanaian
him.
guy.
All his BMs must be.
No, that's
African.
David something.
That's the activist in ill. He got a
Yeah.
little warrior in the. Ready to jump up.
It's funny though.
So with ABB, y'all laugh and then you
When
kind of
he's
step
really in
back.
activist mode, I go home feeling bad about myself.
Yeah, that's what he
really
kind of
goes
did
in.
to me. I'm like, man, I ain't mean it
I'll
like
go
that.
in. I do
know,
go in
he
sometimes,
does go in,
depending.
and
Boy,
I'm
we
like,
had
oh,
this
man.
one interview, and it was all activists here. This motherfucker went activist Super Saiyan that day, boy. He was in it, boy. That motherfucker.
Right.
Yes, I'm like, this motherfucker is
Yeah, see, for me personally, I mean,
Malcolm right now.
I'll take the credit for the shit that I say, but I love black women. Like I never would say this in front
Your
of
mama's a black woman.
Yeah, I love black women too.
I love your mama too. I just
You're
want to say that on
reaching.
air.
Your ass.
This is on record now.
What if she watching this?
I love you. Then if you're watching it, I'll be home later. Once Tyrese goes to sleep, come in through the window.
I'm gonna beat your ass.
She like cheese. I like
no,
to
she
pick up
don't like
shorty
cheese. She's
cheeses
lactose intolerant.
and wines.
God damn it! Like all black
Cheese and
people.
wines, good cheeses and
Cheeses and
wines.
wines.
The new
and artesian
sophisticated
crackers.
white man love cheeses and wines.
Anthony last
What
night.
movie was that?
That's Boondocks.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
his
Boondocks.
Boondocks
What's that?
cartoon. Anthony last night we had the crowd was all white last night, and
They was feeling it.
well, it was Anthony did good because he kind of talked about like these. What did you say? These jokes are more for me, and you were talking
that last
about
joke.
black things. Yeah.
When I started doing racial humor, because I know my shit be, you know what I'm saying, a little harsh.
Yeah.
I tell them, like, look, if you don't like this joke for me. I did a couple jokes for you, this one for me.
But they were really interactive with him because of that too.
But I like that though. I like when I can stand on the same level as the stage because I'm really interactive. I like to bring people into the show. So I hate doing like theaters where you up high and they way back. I hate those type of shows.
So I got a quick question for both of y'all. Like, as you guys process your sets, do you give a fuck about if you like or cater? Do you cater towards your audience based off of racial,
Yeah.
demographic?
Yeah. Well, not so much racial. It's just about what I think I can get away with them.
Okay.
Because typically, like, you know, so I'm at the point where I'm featuring
Specifically?
specifically.
You didn't say specifically.
My bad, my mouth a little
said
motherfucking dry. You want to pay attention to every
Your
goddamn
shit
word I
is
say?
dry as a motherfucker. That
Goddamn,
bottom
boy.
lip, White to the head.
Nah, looking at your motherfucking neck is making my mouth dry. Wondering how you turning your neck.
Why would that make your mouth dry?
I don't know,
Why was
motherfucker.
that funny? See, that was stupid.
It's timing. It's timing, yo.
Don't get back to my
It's
shit.
timing. It's
That was
timing.
so stupid. See, he'll play favorites, goddammit. Let's just say that first of all.
I might.
Because he
I
done
might.
did this shit when we done hung out before. And Anthony say shit, he laughing his ass off. Tyrese say shit, Oh, that.
Anthony makes me laugh, yo. Maybe I get his humor. I don't know.
I think it's a
timing, I think,
skill
though.
too for them to pivot, like to notice how the audience is receiving it, watch their faces, how their reaction is, and if it's not being received, with your set, to be able to draw back and
adjust.
redirect.
Yeah.
And it's another
That's a
thing I think a
seasoned
lot of
skill.
comedians don't do. What they should do is, like, when I come, I always come on time. Even if I'm featuring a headliner, I come on time. I pay attention to the audience. I pay attention to the other comedians. What could they get away with? How far did they go? Can I push the limits as far as they did? Can I go beyond that? And then what I like to do is look in the crowd, see something weird or funny, something I know everyone's noticed,
Like
but
a
no one said anything.
60-year-old with nice breasts.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Is that
You
something
know-
you said last night?
Not that time.
No. That was
another
at the. That was at yeah. That
That
was,
track.
no.
Oh, okay.
No, that was when we had the off. No, that was when that was
See, me
JJ's crew.
personally,
He
like,
just called too.
Yeah.
I do it, like, but I don't have, my jokes aren't so bad. Like, there's only certain jokes that are like, okay, only niggas is gonna get this one. So, like, I feel like I could say most of what I got in front of most crowds. And I feel like you could do that too.
Well, what that's gonna come with is that it just depends on when you
I
find
don't
out who
say
you
African
are.
bush bitches in my set.
When you
yo.
find out who you are comedically, that will determine what you can say and who. Because I feel like you're still developing. So a
Yeah.
lot of times when you first start out, you're just trying to say things that's funny. You're trying to make everybody laugh because that's what you want. You want the laughter. But then once you start to narrow down what your point of view is in the comedy, you understand, like, well, since this is my point of view, I'm cutting out probably 20-30% of the audience right there because I'm talking about something specific to me. And you got to be okay with that. You got to be okay. We get on stage and doing jokes and having a few people laugh, but you got to know, is that the response I wanted? Is that the response I intended? And I know a lot of my jokes is like that. I know it's gonna be motherfuckers be like, we ain't going for this. But I got the people who I want to laugh, and you just got to narrow down your audience.
I like your superhero joke, by the way.
Yeah.
When you talking about the kid and the superhero.
Oh, yeah. I like that.
So I listen to
fucking
you,
joke.
man. I know you.
You like all my jokes, you just don't want to say it to
I hate
me.
that fucking joke. I hate that joke.
Why do you hate it?
I don't like it.
I
He's
the
lying.
one when
It's
you
a good
say
premise.
The girl.
You don't like the joke though?
No.
Why? Are you for real?
I don't like it. I feel like you can change some shit to make it funnier. 'Cause
Did
I
you-
think there's some times when you just completely lose the laughter.
Not during the superhero joke.
Yeah. Because that's the one with the little kid, right? And the one was,
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't like now that I changed the joke. I did. It was bad at first, but I changed it now, and now it's better.
Okay. I guess I got to wait till
I like
now.
the prosthetic
I hate
one
this nigga.
when you're having sex.
Oh yeah.
I told you that joke. You
I
can
like
go
that
so
one,
far
too.
with that.
I like
I
that
told
one,
you
too.
to expand on that shit.
Yeah.
I like your jokes, man. Get out of here.
No,
I like that one.
he'll be.
I'm
hating.
telling you what,
I'm
you're
not a
gonna be
hater,
like
man.
me. You're gonna think like I'm killing it right now. Then you're gonna be 2 years down the line. You're gonna look at that shit like, God, that was terrible.
I do
And
that
that's
with
how
my
it is.
music for sure. I go
Yeah.
back. I've listened
You
back to
think you
some
killed
old
it
shit.
because
I'm
you're
like,
getting the
God
laughs,
damn,
but
this
then
shit
once
is
you get
whack.
that perspective and you understand who you are as a comic,
Yeah.
and you look back, you're like, oh, that was terrible.
I could kind of get it now. Like, there's certain jokes that I wrote that I don't even like telling.
Mm-hmm.
Like the roses joke. I hate that joke now. The one,
I think so. Yeah, you
Yeah.
giving the roses in. Yeah.
yeah, I don't like that joke anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's,
but-
you got, and that's the thing. You got to be okay with feeling like you outgrown something.
Yeah.
And just throw it away. All right, well, I can't.
Well, I'm not gonna
bring
throw
up
it
to where
away
I'm
now
at.
because it brings in a whole premise of something right now. So once I get another joke that hits as hard as that joke, because that's one of my best jokes right now.
Well, you just do that. Well, if you feel like it's something, just evolve the joke to
Yeah.
where it fits you now. I've done that with old jokes to where I threw away. I look at it and I can twist this a little bit more to make it
Yeah.
more me now.
But yeah, but like, I don't know. It's a process. I get it. Like,
What is your process? What do you do to
man,
write?
personally, for me personally, I haven't wrote a joke in like 8 months, and it's not that it's just not as like how can I put this? It's not as organic when I write it down. If I'm thinking it and then I say it on stage and it hits, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep building on that in my head. And that's how I've been writing jokes, and that's how I got like maybe 10 minutes of my set I wrote, and that's it. And I got
Well, you're
almost
still,
30.
like you said, writing it technically.
Yeah. But you should be trying to write something at least
Yeah.
every day. That's why I be on Facebook. That's why you always see me with 1,000
Yeah,
bucks.
but see, I
That's
be
just
on
me working
Facebook
on
too,
my
yeah.
But you post like, you don't post that much.
I don't.
You'll go, yeah.
See, but people say I post too much.
Fuck them. It ain't
Yeah.
for them. It's for you.
See,
Shit.
but
I know
yeah,
people think I post too
real.
much.
A lot of my jokes.
You know,
are
once I
from-
get going in
from
the middle of the
Facebook
night, you might
statuses,
wake up
though.
to 20, 30 statuses.
Yeah. And I'll be like, this.
I be liking them too. I'm like,
Yeah, me too. I'll be like, this nigga here, man.
be on my time feed, my timeline. I'm like,
And then you
"Dang,
post it in the little border so everybody can. Like,
Ah,
you
yeah,
ain't
like-
got no choice.
Y'all just see me at home trying to figure out what word can I take out to make it fit in the borders.
Yeah.
I like the borders, man. I like the borders.
I like hearing the process though. It's fun to hear how you guys, because
Yeah,
like as a
I'm jiggle
writer,
with my shit. I'm
my
Jay-Z
process is
with it.
different. Yeah. No, I mean comics write totally different than any style
It's
of writers.
hard.
Yeah, it's hard. Real
Like
hard.
writing the joke out, it's like, okay, this didn't sound as funny when I was just thinking it. But if I'm just gonna be like one of my newer jokes that actually is funny, like the Superman joke. I didn't write that down. I was literally in Walmart or I was in Target right around when Spider-Man Homecoming came out.
Okay, yeah.
No. Yeah, when Spider-Man Homecoming was coming out. And I seen a little pop figure of Spider-Man. And I'm like, Peter Parker. And then I'm like, Peter Parkinson. Oh shit, there's a joke there. And then I just thought of the joke for the rest of the night. And then I went to a mic that night and told it. And there's the joke.
Comedy is the hardest art form, man. I feel like it's like I've said this before. Like I feel like comedy is the hardest art form for one because it's so hard to gauge where people's humor is at, and there's no guarantee that they gonna laugh just because you think it's funny. Where in music, and a variety of the art forms, like people just appreciate it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
even if they
music
don't.
even if you don't like it, it's still music.
Yeah.
So whereas with comedy, if you don't like it, you hate it. And that's the thing. When you see a bad comedy show, it's
It's bad.
It's
bad.
hard.
It
I've
makes
been
you,
through a
it
couple
makes you feel terrible.
hard
I
ones.
feel bad that
But-
you don't like my superhero joke now.
It's okay.
Like,
You work on it. We work on it. But when you see a good comedy show, when it's just everybody's just amazing, it's magical. You know what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
is.
And it's a hard ass thing to do because you get instant feedback immediately. Most other arts aren't like that. So when you get a reaction immediately from when you say some shit.
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the who'd I go see? What the hell is his name? George Lopez. When I went to see him, he purposely will walk people out that he doesn't
We
feel
seen
fit his
that.
demographic.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, he'll
We
start
seen that?
in
Where did
just
we see
easing
that?
in like
Wow.
you know
Sushi Hot.
what Trump supporters
Somebody
do I have
purposely-
here, and then he asked like the club owner, "Can you give them their money back for their ticket, and can you please leave now?"
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
that-
gangster right
that's
there.
another
Yeah.
joke. That's some weird shit to see when you see a comedian walking a crowd. I had never seen it before, but I did a show.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
we did a
See,
show.
They fucked up for that.
Huh?
That was because Anthony's a little. He's loud, and Anthony is
'Cause
like
he can't
Anthony
hear.
has.
People don't understand that. They
Anthony
need to
writes his
give him
jokes
some
for
room.
all of his jokes to be hard hitting jokes. Like he doesn't write a joke for a setup for another joke for
Yeah.
it to be a hard hitting joke.
Yeah.
Anthony's like, fuck that.
We're
all
going
these
in
jokes
all
is
the
about to
time.
be hard hitting jokes.
All power moves.
And then they put a comedian that was mellow.
Oh, I
after
see what
him.
you're saying.
So yeah, that's yeah.
He couldn't.
I-
Came. That's when I came from Ep20. I had crushed Ep20, so I was already on high. So I
Yeah.
came over them,
Throwing
and they was already a
haymakers.
hot crowd.
So one of the things that a lot of comics would get mad at me for in the beginning was I would put a comedian who wasn't doing comedy as long, maybe before, or I'll give them all the same amount of time if I know that's the case. But
Yeah.
you can't have a low energy comic, a high energy. You cannot have a low energy comic go after a high energy comic. I'm worried about the crowd. I don't care about the feelings, how long you've been doing
Yeah.
comedy. You're famous, you've been traveling, cool, but you're low energy. So I'm gonna need to put this guy who's
That's
high
interesting.
energy
Yeah.
like after
Yeah.
you because I'm gonna need my crowd back. Even though they're good, they're low energy, they set a different tone.
Do you do that like with the openers, features, and headliners? Like, does it matter in that order?
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to go. A comedy show should build.
Yeah.
And the best person that you know you're gonna get the maximum amount of laughs for should be at the end. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah,
Like
that makes
I
sense.
lost competition. I go out and do my thing. The next guy, he was a physical comedian, and it's hard to follow a physical comedian because, especially if they're funny and they're physical, because they're just giving you too much.
Right.
So it's hard to go after a guy that if you're just telling straight jokes.
See, I don't even look at it like that. I look at it like if you funny, you funny.
But
But you gotta understand from
the tempos.
But this is
I
the thing.
get.
You're looking at it from a comics perspective.
Yeah.
We look at everything to get to one point where the audience is looking linear. You start here, there. So they're not
like
thinking as
DJ.
deep as you are.
Like for me
Just like with
personally,
music.
I don't have I
Yeah,
personally
it's true.
don't have a problem following you. I wouldn't have a problem following you, and I don't feel like it wouldn't shake me if you killed
It should want to make you better. That's why I love Derek Stroop. That's why I say
Derek Stroop
I've had
is
to follow this
amazing.
motherfucker twice, and this dude is a killer, man.
I didn't follow him. I was the feature and he was the headliner, and he killed it. I was
Crushed that
like, shit,
motherfucker.
I killed it.
Yeah.
And then he went up and was like, okay, watch this, nigga. And he went like harder than I did.
That's what I'm saying. I like that though. That's what comedy's supposed to be. When somebody should make you work, you should want to follow that person.
I like that
and
as an
bring out
artist,
your
too.
best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not be like, oh,
That's
I can't
why
follow that person.
I like being on shows with you. I like being on shows with Kyle Pogue, Derek Stroop. There's some heavy hitters in there.
Hey, there's some motherfuckers out here. The scene has really gotten deep over the last couple of years. So some motherfuckers out here is
It's kind
good.
of like we're not gonna name names, but so we had a bunch of comics show up just randomly, and we went ahead and let everyone do some time.
Oh, yeah,
And then everyone who just did time that wasn't booked on the show fucking killed it, and then the headliner was just like, you know?
Anthony walked up and whispered in my ear, "You want to do some time?" I'm like,
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
You guys come out. That's what the platform's for, too, you know?
You guys got an open mic coming up here pretty soon, huh?
Are we gonna do it?
No. We'll probably make
Sorry
it
about that.
announce. Yeah.
shameless plug for no reason.
Yeah. So what had happened is we had some transition with we have a violinist coming out, Tebby.
Yeah, he's gonna be at my school tomorrow. He's doing some workshops.
Right. And I was trying to get him to do maximum things while he was here. So within that and waiting on the other person helping produce, things just got set back, and then I had some people fall off the show, and then, you know, some other things come up. So I'm either thinking about rescheduling it for another Thursday. I'm waiting actually for permission back from the venue,
I see. Yeah.
or just canceling it for this month.
I just
But you're
wanna-
considering doing.
Well, what I decided is because it goes so well when people show up and they just perform. I thought, and this is something I used to do a long time ago that worked really well, is we'd always do an hour open mic, and whoever crushed that open mic would like feature the next week.
I like
you know,
that.
so they would
Yeah.
like earn a progressive spot. And we did that like 3 years ago. That was kind of the format. And so I thought, you know, I'm left with 3 comics for this show. Let me just do an hour open mic and then, you know, and then some set comedy. But just with the way scheduling's working this week, it's just a lot of energy to like pivot, pull people in last minute.
I wish
you know?
Lorraine would throw me bones like she throw every other comedian. I gotta beg
Oh,
her.
hell.
how do you go about that
What do you mean?
as far as booking and like getting an opportunity?
Every other comedian in Colorado first, and if they can't do it, ask Tyree.
Tyree has performed. So also trying to like, so Anthony works with 5280 Entertainment exclusively, like almost in a management style of
almost.
You ain't even
relationship.
asking, I'll do that.
So
She's
because
like, you work
of
at
that,
the Improv, he's straight.
because of that, he's my core team. Just that is what it is. So I need him because I am not a comic. I need him to be almost like the face of this business at each show. Like I need that, whether he's headlining or he's whatever, because I am not, and that's how comedy works. Like if it was musicians, I wouldn't need someone, which mostly is ill because I work with him in that regard too. But you know, with musicians, you just book them. But with a comedian, you need your updates. You need them to show face.
In the
They're
depth
the
of what it
ones
is.
like representing and hosting this, right? Which is usually the lasting.
Yeah.
You know, so that's that capacity. But then I look at, when was the last time I booked them? Who do I need to filter through here? And then if I have someone, like I said, with the comedy where they're low energy,
Yeah.
and I have them headlining or I have them featuring, then we look at trying to build around it. And then lately, you know, going with the things of, do we need to have a woman? Do I have too many black people on this show? Do I need a white person? Like, you know, those are all things which I thought I needed to care about, but I'm not anymore. So we're just booking who is available and who is good.
I'm always available.
I know. And you just did the show 3 months ago.
See how long ago that was? That was pretty long ago.
I think
I'm hungry out here.
it's hard for an artist, like especially just coming into the game and getting booked for events. It's just straight up, it's hard. Like and I think that's what it. Like as a young artist, and this is what I tell every young artist: you gotta get your ass out there. I know it's hard for you, but like it's being in people's faces and really freaking showing them your presence on a regular basis. Like I know when I was coming up,
that's crazy to me. I get what you're saying and I understand it wholeheartedly, but some of these people have seen you before, and they know that you're good.
It's not
don't
about
don't try
you.
don't try to fight against it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You just have to understand a lot of it is just being in the place.
Yeah.
Just being fucking sane. And that's one thing that made me take the Tyree because, you know what I'm saying, this motherfucker doesn't have a car and he's handicapped and
Yeah.
he takes public transportation everywhere
Yep.
to be at mics to do shows.
Right,
and I
right.
can't do shit but get that motherfucker all the respect I got. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right,
you got motherfuckers that got legs and cars and they don't come out to the fucking mics. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's mad respect for him. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why too, whenever you show up, we still, like, even if you're not on that show,
Yeah, they
we
give
always
me-
give
yeah,
you
they show
we
me
always
love.
give
I'm
you
just
time
playing,
too. But the other thing within that is you know, one of the things, you know, Anthony and Il and I talked about too is utilizing, you know, the distillery. That's what that's been about, because every comic, especially black comedians, have gone through this where they don't get booked. So at least there's one place where you could work on showtime, not just open mic where you're trying out shit, but actually working on being at a show, because it's different. It's different working on a jokes than when you're at, you know, and not getting the bad habits of, oh, let me see what else I'm gonna do. You know, I know comedians bring a list and they set it there of like the general stuff they're gonna talk about, but some of them will go verbatim.
You
off
should
of the,
not bring a list to a showcase.
No.
You should only have a list at an open mic, and I hate that because you practice how you play.
Yeah.
So if you ain't gonna
I
have a
agree
list
with
on
that.
stage, don't have a list. You wrote the fucking joke.
Yeah. See, I did. See, I just thought it.
Yeah.
So,
I did that shit the very first time I went to open mic, and I'm like, this is dumb, and I never did it again.
yeah.
I hate like that in the spoken word scene, like people reading off of their page. Like, man, you didn't commit, you didn't memorize.
I actually had a couple who wanted to hire a spoken word person, and that was the first thing they said. We don't want anyone who
Nobody
reads off.
does.
We can do that. We want someone who can.
Professional. You need a professional. Yeah, you know, I think like it's really good to have the conversation within the racial aspects of what's happening in the comedy world, because it reflects in so many different other things. You know, like it reflects back into where we are at in the culture in the states, in this state specifically, but on a national scale too.
And that's another thing, and it's like a form of media, comics.
Yeah,
and they're trying to
definitely.
suppress that as well.
Yeah.
They're trying to say don't do this type of material, don't do this type of material, because they don't want to hear it.
I feel like political correctness is something that's hurting our nation. I feel that we're not having enough real conversations, we're not having enough real dialogues, and because we're not having that, people, I think...
And even the conversations we're having aren't real, because you have to be super hypercritical of everything you say, because everyone's offended by every single thing that you say.
I blame that on Obama. And the reason why I put it on Obama is because we went under the illusion that everything was progressive. And then after he got out, I think as much as people hate on Trump, Trump is telling some hard-ass truths.
He assaulted, or he did some shit today to the Japanese too. So
Yeah, you know, he's out there being who he's gonna be. And I think the vast majority of middle America, rural America, they've been feeling that way. They ain't changed. You know what I'm saying? They've been hating niggas and Mexicans and everybody else.
I don't know. I'm always a person to where I think that everything in the government is orchestrated.
Yeah.
So
I totally
to me,
agree with you on that.
I just feel like things are going to according to this plan, but we don't know what the plan is, and that's the thing. All this
that's the
stuff that's
scary part.
happening, it's coming. It's for something else that's coming later on down the line. We just don't know what it is yet, because this is the most radical that America's been in a long motherfucking time
Since
And-
the 60s.
yeah,
50,
and
60 years.
it's ridiculous, and people, but I'm glad that it's happening because now you have to choose your side. You have to decide what you're going to do because a lot of white people that were allowed to live in suburbia and not see this stuff, it's all in their face. And they're like, and a lot of people, and you got to give it to some people, they just don't know what the fuck is going on. They really just don't know. And you can't be mad at those people because it's not on them. You know, they're just a product of who they were brought up by and where they live. You know what I'm saying? But people are seeing it and they're like, oh my motherfucking God, we can't believe that in 2017, this is still going on. You read about it in the books when it happened in the 40s, 50s,
right.
But they're like, this is the same exact thing.
And that I kind of used to get mad at the white people not knowing what white privilege was.
Oh.
But I mean, I guess now that you say that, I can kind of understand it. They don't know what it is because
they're not woke.
Yeah.
So where can people find you and start following you? And
you can follow me, or you can add me as a friend on Facebook at Tyree Dillard. I'm on Black Planet. I'm not on Black Planet.
I was gonna say, I was like, who's on Black Planet?
Spell your first name because
TAI. T as in Tom, A as in Apple, IREE Dillard, like the store.
There you go.
You can follow me on Snapchat, Toogeechi, TOO_GEECHI.
Follow you on Snapchat.
Yeah.
I gotta get Snapchat.
You can follow me on Twitter at The Life of Tablo, TABLO. You could.
I like that.
And on Instagram, Tyree the Comedian, TAI.
You need to streamline all that. You got too many names.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
No one's gonna cycle through all those.
true.
They are. They're gonna replay.
So
this
I would do
like
Tablo the Great. I think that's pretty creative.
Tablo the Great.
Yeah,
I like
I'm
that.
the
You
GOAT.
have
I'm
any
not the great, I'm
shows
the
coming
GOAT.
up?
Or the GOAT.
I don't have any shows coming up so far, but I'm a regular at the Denver Improv. I'm a regular at you guys' show, Distillery, Rising Sun Distillery. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
So as we leave, as you know, I am a connoisseur of all things white, and I scoured the earth to find the whitest things that I could find. I have stumbled upon one of the greatest things I've heard. Thank you, Kelly, for letting me know about this. It's called canyoneering. Canyoneering is where white people take harnesses and they lower themselves down into cracks in the earth.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
Why do white people do anything? We don't know. But I just wanted to pass canyoneering. It's the new white thing.
That's hilarious.
They made a movie about it. That's the movie where the dude got his arm chopped off. He was in the hole. That's canyoneering.
That's hilarious.
That's what it is.
Silly.
Scorpio party. Be on the lookout for that.
Oh.
I got a show coming up on the 16th over at the Roxy with Cadaver and Slain
Yes,
and
get your tickets. We have tickets.
Terminology.
When is that?
It's on the 16th of November.
The 16th, discounted pre-tickets. Get it ill for
Hopefully
those.
you guys will see me at Rising Sun Distillery soon. Hopefully.
I like that. Ambition.
Stop being sensitive, motherfucker.
I'm not sensitive.
Whatever.
I love you guys. I love you, Ill.
I love you too, brother, man.
Man, I'm not mad at you
powerful,
for.
bro.
I love black women. I need to say that again.
I ain't got
Shout out to
favoritism.
All Real Radio.
Anthony is my big brother. I love him.
Anthony just makes me laugh loud on occasion. Sometimes he pisses me off too.
Ill doesn't like my comedy. It's okay.
Nah, it's not even like
Well,
that.
Ray don't like my slavery joke, and that's fine.
That's interesting. You don't like his slavery joke?
I don't remember what
No,
that.
she didn't say that she didn't like it. She said that I lose crowds with it because
That's
Yeah, I think I like it. I think some of the people don't like it at the
Yeah.
distillery, but
Check us out on All Real Radio tonight, y'all. If you're checking us out in live stream, check us out. Download the motherfucking app if you haven't downloaded that damn app, y'all, and check us out. All Real Radio, Boombap, WeAreDenver, hashtag us, and we're out.
Send me nudes.
Send them nudes.